backyard. It's right there on Battle, but it's their backyard. So I'm going to drive by and see if there's any extension cords or hoses. I've always checked it regularly, but I'll check again, and if there is, then I'll say something. But technically, it's in their backyard. It's not allowed to keep it in their backyard.
It's theirs, then fine.
Okay, I'll check.
I just said I had a complaint and I wanted to check it out, that's all.
But it's actually not that bad.
So it sounds like you checked it out.
It's not that bad.
You want to check it with Charlie?
Let's see, wait, no. Let's see, okay, so for today, that means I've dealt with shed, camper, chickens, bull, loose bull.
In the village?
Not bull shit, but a loose bull
In the village or in the town?
in the town.
Okay.
A giant pile of manure bigger than my Jeep.
What was that?
Town.
Okay.
In the village, a place that has about 6 dismantled cars, a house that has house wrap on it, you name it.
It's not recording.
It's a fun day.
That's enough.
It's not recording, is it?
It is not.
Okay. You don't want whatever you guys were saying before the meeting recorded.
I'm just.
No,
Complaints.
they'll clean it up. There's nothing people can't hear, it's just,
No, but if you think you're
it
having...
was rather descriptive.
Well, I was just saying, if you guys are having an A-B conversation, I wanted to see them on
You
it.
can handle that one.
Okay, it being a little bit past 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. And for the record, just indicate that Trustee Zay and Trustee Nagel are absent this evening because of pre-planned engagements, I guess you could call it.
Vacations, let's call it what it is.
So,
Must be nice.
I tell you. Okay, before we get along too far in this, got some additions to the agenda. You should have the documents in the share folder. And one is the public hearings that we had last month, the minutes for those. It should be the Community Development Block Grant rehab application, the sidewalks, the dog control, and the state code enforcement rule that we were putting in there. This is just for the hearings, not the vote, or lack of vote. Okay, and there's also, under the legislative committee reports, we've got the procurement policy, and this is one that has been provided to us by the auditors on, which one was that?
The Office of Community Renewal.
That was it,
When
yep.
they did our 2013 housing rehab grant, suggested that we just do an
So
addition
we'll-
to our procurement
Yep,
policy.
so that's in the folder as well, as is the resolution we have to pass to forward the delinquent taxes to county. And also, under fire department, the Fire Prevention Week proclamation. I thought we had passed it, but so I had deleted it. We need to put it back on. And with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the department head meeting on August 9th, the regular meeting minutes for August 15th, the special board meeting minutes. You remember the date on that, Megan?
Yes.
29th?
That sounds about right.
If I remember properly.
And then all of the public hearing ones that we also had on the 15th.
Motion.
A motion from trustee Rittenhouse, a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Humphrey. Any discussion, additions, deletions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. At this time, we have privilege of the floor. Mr. Bondi, you got it. Again.
I just, these to add to the one that I already have given you to emphasize the sidewalk management. If Scott was here, I was going to commend him on the work he's been doing. The sidewalks he has put in do not plan, and I know he's been blessed and cursed in the same breath, so be it. My open suggestions, I'm reading it direct. It's basically redundant from my other presentation. Repeating previous comments, the larger base of monetary support from all taxpayers, Granton as established by the village master plan could more easily handle fairly the ever ongoing maintenance of our sidewalks. Precedents have been established over the years and even now on sidewalk maintenance by this village. Again, recognize our community, our homeowners' limited monetary resources and their physical limitations and everyday tax burden. Yes, the village master plan would be proper, fair direction, thus the village would be responsible. That is my opinion and the opinion of several other people in the village that I've talked to. I'm making this as a suggestion. I hope your trustees can work on it and come up with a fair.
Well, right now it's been put in the hands of a couple people to take a look at, and the whole issue of sidewalk maintenance is being looked at. So,
Okay, that's it.
okay. And with that, see, Francis Bovee is not here this evening, so we will. What she had cornered us and cornered me in the office last week about, was that Friday? Brought in the
Probably.
breakfast pizza. Friend bribed us.
I like breakfast pizza.
It was good.
It was good.
Of course, she was hoping that smoking on Main Street in the commercial district could be prohibited. I don't know how much of that we can do.
How we can enforce that even.
I know it'd be rather difficult. Can't even get some of them to pick them up.
Right.
Where they, the bars and Casa. But she's not here to speak, so I guess we can move right along. Okay, I have some comments. Working on the bushes at the corner of Bryant and Health Street. I was talking last night. Yeah, last night with Ron Hall, who spoke to us last month. The corners tightened up. And he was actually more concerned about the noise from motorcycles. I told him, I said, there's just so much you can do with that. I mean, you gotta be at the right place at the right time with one officer on. It's pretty hard. And particularly this time of year, there are motorcycles all over the place. How do you stop? I don't know.
We are gonna make an extra attempt on the motorcycles and the diesel trucks.
Okay.
I don't know how productive it's gonna be, but the guys will all be reminded me.
You just go in one place, sit there, and wait for them to come by. I mean, I pass them all the time going up 256, but
And unbeknownst to me, a couple of guys have already taken initiative on their own to try to deal with the diesel trucks on Main Street. But like you said, we sat there half an hour, can't afford to sit any longer, or we get called away after 5 minutes, and we didn't see any diesel trucks, but when we went 2 blocks away, we could hear it. So they, on their own initiative, they were already trying to deal with that.
don't think Ron was happy with my response. I understand your concern. It's a manpower issue. Can't be every place all the time.
Well, and you put 7 guys on and no motorcycle comes down the street. But I agree with them.
I mean, it's one of those things that becomes incidental if you stop them for something else, or you have to be someplace at the right time, I guess. But I don't know how you do it unless you dedicate a whole day to it and tell all the rest of the crime to stop. Good luck with that. Okay. I think this only affects Megan and myself. Village Board Association dinner is tomorrow night, Caledonia. And I believe, isn't that an earlier time they're going in for that? I had it here earlier today, right here.
Yeah, I think
5 o'clock or something?
I wanted to say 4:30 to start a tour, but I can give you that information tomorrow.
Yeah, this is just the thing for the whole year. Okay. It is has different times, I know that. They got a tour, I think, of the gallery, isn't that at 4 or 4:30, followed by the meal?
Yeah, I believe at 4:30, yep.
Right. I'm still president, lucky me. Well, I think I still am.
Life.
Well, we're waiting to see what happens with Geneseo. And the other item I have there is contract negotiations for the CSEA and the Council 82, the PD, will be coming up this coming calendar year. Just to let you know. And that's going to have to probably take some of that into consideration for the budget as well. Somehow or another it will be affected. That really gets down to the next one, that's long-term planning and budget prep. And I think everybody should have gotten a copy of the email today I sent out on budget preparation. Get a little earlier start this year than we did last year, hopefully. And also for the board, the DPW projects input that Scott had asked for. Probably by next month we ought to have that. You weren't here, Robin, but Scott was saying, got any ideas for projects?
Well, he also wanted us to take the list of projects and prioritize what we thought was a priority. And I know that we had a list that Scott had sent out, I want to say back more towards the spring. So maybe if we
Actually, I sent that one out.
Oh, you did? Maybe if we can update, see what was done on that, because we were going to try to throw out to everyone else. Is there any ideas that they
Not
thought
much
of?
has been accomplished on that list, so
No.
The one that you
yeah. I'll resurrect that and get it back to you.
And then if we can think of anything additional.
Yeah. And I'm going to mention this one last time. If anybody in the room here is using Kaspersky software for antivirus stuff, hacking and what have you, strongly urge not to use it. I don't think any of the village stuff is on it because we're using Hurricane technologies, and they have a different software they use. But Kaspersky is a Russian outfit. It has close ties to the Kremlin, and Russian law allows the government there to interfere with what's going on in the company as far as getting material, information, data.
You can have all mine if they want the bills. They can take rate. They can have them.
Just letting you know. So that's the last time I'm going to mention that,
I'll share.
folks. We got also a thank you from Chalk Walk and the Art Fest committee, thanking Scott, Charlie, and myself on getting things set up for them. I think that more on Charlie and Scott's end than mine.
You approved it.
Yeah. And let's see, next one. This one, if you really want to look at it, the EFC has a draft IUP, and don't ask me what that stands for, comments requested in webinar on September 20th, which is tomorrow. And last but not least, everybody should have gotten a copy of that, the insurance preview. I put it in the folder.
It's in the share folder.
Yep. So, if you want to browse through that, go right ahead. We're going to end up paying what we're going to end up paying anyway.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll switch over to committee reports. Start with legislative. Anything on action update, action list update, Megan?
Yeah, I think there was one update from the August regular meeting I saw in Jess's notes, anti-harassment policy. So I added that. And then other than that, I just kind of tried to clean the list up a little bit, and that's in the share folder.
Okay. And so we've got that on next item down anyway. We can discuss or vote for it or not. Likewise with the procurement policy and taxes. So why don't we start with anti-harassment policy from NYMER. Anybody have any questions on that? This is to protect us with everything else that's been going on. It's a little more extensive than the sexual harassment we have. There are no questions. I'd ask for a motion to authorize the use of this policy.
so moved.
A motion from trustee Humphrey, second.
I'll second that.
They're quiet
Not
tonight.
Not many more people will be thinking first or second, those babies.
Okay. Any discussion? Not hearing any. Trustee Humphrey.
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse.
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Motion passes 3-0. Procurement policy. May I have a motion to authorize that or approve it?
Motion.
Motion from trustee Rittenhouse and a second from trustee Humphrey. Discussion?
I did a lot in the minutes tonight.
Okay. Trustee Humphrey?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. And last but not least, under legislative, authorizing the clerk here to forward the delinquent taxes
Motion.
roster. Okay, a motion from trustee Rittenhouse, a second.
Second.
It's a long yell from Colorado.
Okay, second from trustee Humphrey. All in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
Trustee Humphrey.
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse.
That'll be an aye.
Yeah, mayor's an aye as well, 3-0. Jumping down to public safety, trustee Nagel.
Aye. Oh,
Code enforcement, Tammy.
Yep.
Any changes from last week?
Violations added today.
business as usual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Any movement on Jefferson Street? Say move the tree out of the creek, that's it. It looks like all summer long.
No, he's mowed. Almost a dozen times.
We asked last week too.
Okay.
It's for sale.
It's for
Your
sale.
address.
He has mowed more this year than he's ever mowed in the past.
There is a couple pallets of,
the old
fertilizers and such is gone.
It was in the front.
Yeah, that's gone. There is a little bit more organization to the stock. Stock's the right word, right? Stock in front of the actual sales building. And it almost looked to me like he may have taken the suggestion and started to try to line up some of the fruit trees. So, hoping to hit him, I just haven't, when I've been by there 15 times, I just haven't caught him outdoors or thought he'd been there to stop and say, hey, remember how we talked about lining up the trees? Good start. You know, now's the time to continue on.
Are those trees for sale?
Yeah.
Everything there is for sale, even though it looks like it's completely rooted.
I was gonna say, it's probably already an orchard down
And,
there.
and he's, you know, he will tell you about every tree and it's for sale and we've heard about every tree.
Okay. Any other questions of Tammy? And we'll jump right on down then to Glenn. Chief, what do you got?
Last week, Chad came in, I don't know how much he spoke on the report, nothing's really changed. Real quick, we had 23 calls in August, a total of 185 for the year so far, so we're still moving along. We're looking at a program that we are going with to replace I Am Responding and record keeping. I spoke with Megan today, I moved some things with her suggestions and she helped me out, moving some funds from one account to another so we can pay it. The startup fee is approximately was $5,000. Yeah, it was $5,000, and then $3,000 onto that. So it comes out with a total of approximately $9,000. So I moved stuff around. That's just a one-time fee though. Once we get it going,
What is it?
it's a Redx, or something like that. It's Alpine software. It comes out of Mendham. York's using it. It'll take care of everything we have. Hose testing reports will be in there for ISO. Extinguishers, order, maintenance on the trucks will be recorded that way. Reports for incidents. So instead of me sitting there for hours typing it in, right from the county, it'll go right into this. And the only thing we got to put in is the manpower and what apparatus went and the narrative, and that's it. Everything else, basically what we're paying for 2 or 3 programs now, we're getting in one. And with I Am Responding and fire programs, which is a base company out of California, trying to get help with them is, forget it, you can't. the thing, I'm sitting home trying to do reports and the thing's crashing on. We've lost stuff and everything. They already started trying to move stuff over, which is part of that 5,000, creating modules for us for special graphs and everything like that. So I think it's going to work out great.
And they're local, you said Mendon?
Yes, yeah. Myself and Gort Welton went down there. Brian Wood's been talking with them. We met them. Just a plain building going in. They got a bunch of guys sitting there doing the tech stuff. And it'll help out with call response, because we got TV screens in the truck house that's supposed to bring up where and who's coming to the calls. With what we have now, we can't do it. It shuts right down. So, and then the one-time fee will be done, and then it should go back to, I think we pay close to $3,000 a year, and that's what's in my budget for it. And that's what it'll go back to.
So you got the other 5,000 out of another one of your budget lines?
Yeah, I moved two of them. One was moved into the administration where we usually pay the programs out of. I moved one out of miscellaneous and some out of protective equipment.
Here, move that budget.
Yes, those were added to the modification request.
I didn't want to touch anything with equipment, training and stuff like that. Because that's stuff we use.
What about numbers for the towns?
I never saw the contracts prior to this. Greg was handling everything. Greg was nice enough to print me up a couple. You're talking about percentage of rate to give them. I'm looking at 2%, especially going all the way out now, town, all the way out, Steuben County, and then going out to Allegheny and Ocean too, because we got a big area.
Okay. So we should tell each of the towns that they click in on a 2%.
2%.
Same with all three of them? Or 4? Can't
I would
remember
just
that.
do the 4. The other one, the town of Dansville.
Dansville, and you got the
Yeah.
town of Ocean?
Yeah, I would leave them, and then just leave the Ocean 1. Because I don't know, are we combining those, or is that going to be 2 separate contracts because we're covering the whole area now?
Well, I would think it would be just one.
Yeah, because I got 2 from last time,
I think that's because we had basically added it on.
because we started in January.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, we'll add on that, add them together rather than just doing
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
We'll add them together and make one, but
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would keep that with the 2% then, because we are going out in, Dan even said it when Greg was in, we don't go out there that much, and now we're going out there left and,
Yeah.
a few.
well, that's one of the things where, I mean, the numbers aren't what it was. Fuel just took a how much of a jump,
Yes,
and manpower still is an issue.
yep.
And so, you know, if you ever think the 2% is not enough, they can always find other, you know, it's not like we're getting rich doing these things.
So,
So I will, that'll be the town of Dansville and the town of Ocean.
did you want me to send you an email?
Why don't you do that?
Okay.
I got it locked in.
All right, I'll do that tomorrow when I'm at work.
What about North Dansville? Just leave that alone?
I would think so, yeah.
Any problem raising our,
Pardon?
didn't have any problem raising our rent and stuff like that. I mean,
All right, hey, we
You
can
know,
buy
I mean-
2%, I'm for
Yep.
whatever to help us out.
Oh, we can do that.
Now, we'll put it across the board. 2% will make it easy, right across the board. That's good.
That's fair.
Yep. Fire prevention. I ordered all the supplies. We got it home. My wife had it fit because I had about 15 boxes, and I think the UPS guy hated me. All the supplies we got for fire prevention. So we're gonna be doing that, and we got a meeting with the school. We'll move on with that.
Okay. Which brings us to the next item, fire prevention proclamation. Anyone like to make a motion to approve
Motion.
that? Yep. Motion from trustee Rittenhouse,
Second.
second from trustee Humphrey. Discussion? Trustee Humphrey?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. 3-0.
What's the days?
The
You remember?
10th, the week of the 10th,
Okay.
to the 14th. Saturday, the 14th, we're going to be holding it on Main Street, sit at the truck house for an open house. We're going to have Ocean Street between Elizabeth and Main closed off. We're going to have the truck down here, some events for the kids. Looking at somebody going to be speaking on fire safety at Star Theater, and then we're going to show a movie for the kids. We're trying to get the businesses involved too, with food and things like that. Looking, I think, Charlie, what did I tell you, about 9 to 1? Yeah. And I'll probably block off with the cones right in front of the Chinese restaurant all the way down to the corner. So hopefully it'll be nice weather.
So, anything else for the chief?
Anything on the grant?
Nope. Actually, Greg next month is gonna be coming in to discuss with
The grant?
Yeah, well, we can ask him that, but no, nothing, Dan, I wish. Nothing yet. So I don't know if no news is good news.
How long has that application been in?
I believe Greg put it in before he left, so I would say around March, April.
Well, that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay, we have nobody from ambulance this month.
Did we get an ambulance report?
Nope.
Did we get an ambulance report for last month?
I do not believe so.
No, as I recall, we did not.
Do we have an email to reach out to somebody and
I
say
can reach
we're
out to
2
Jerry.
months at least now without an ambulance report? You know?
I can contact Jerry directly.
Danny, just in case, I'm just gonna give you, if the program keeps on, we may be late 1 month with the reports coming to you guys.
Yeah, but we love to see you, Glenn.
I know you do. I know you do. You love the accent, I know.
Well, I wasn't gonna try to re-say California again.
I was gonna say the same thing. What'd he
I
say?
started laughing at him when he said California. I didn't even know what it was. I thought
Say
it was
California.
California or wherever.
Hey, I went down to Jersey with my son, he said, oh my God, you do have an accent, everybody speaks like you now.
He said that, I started laughing at him, like, I don't wanna laugh, but I don't know where California.
You've known me, what, 20-something years now, you know it goes,
California.
out west.
No, we understand that, I mean, but,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you don't have it in, that you would probably still come and say, hey, we're in the middle of this.
Yeah, I
This
will.
is not that.
Okay, I guess that brings us now to the chief,
Thanks,
police
Mike.
chief. Thank you.
Since Glenn's still sitting here too, I'll say that. No, Glenn, we had a minor, a family concern with a juvenile in town, and they had some interest, maybe an over interest in fire. So, spoke with Glenn about it, he took care of it, and set the kid up with a
Yeah.
juvenile fire starters.
I spoke to the kid too, because I'm certified in that through work, and then we talked to Tom Corey, to the county. He, what it was is, he set a small patch of wood chips on the park by the swing set down Fulton Street. I went out and I spoke to the kid for a while, and then you spoke to
I spoke to
him.
him, and we worked through his less than truthful answers and got more so to the truth. But he also, the family's concerned because there was a couple other prior incidents, so.
How old was he, Charlie?
32?
Yeah,
12,
13,
13.
yeah. So, just, what's something that people don't think about the fire department involving themselves in on that type of aspect as far as potential, with the juveniles, children that have maybe an overactive interest in fire. That could be just part of growing up, or it could be a sign of something greater, and, people don't realize the fire department takes the bull by the horns on that.
The only thing I have done, told me I'm a certified juvenile intervention specialist with the state, so it helps.
Okay, well, good.
And then backing up to the concerns on Jefferson Street, I do want to point out that that person has been spending some extra time on Elizabeth Street, 37 Elizabeth Street. He's cut a lot of brush down over there. I think he's trying to get ready for I assume he's getting ready for the brush pickup, or maybe he's taking care of it on his own, but he has been. More than, he's even been back over there since last week, cutting down a lot of brush, so he is making some efforts on the property.
Because he's cited for both properties.
Let's see, I think on the agenda you've got speed indicators. Can we throw that on the action list? Would that probably be a better place for that?
Sure.
Yeah,
Plan on that for budget conversations and stuff?
yep, that's what I was gonna say. We need to put that in there.
And then procedures, I'm about 75% sold on Lexipol. I'm hoping to confirm my decision at the Chiefs meeting in October. There's a Western New York Police Chiefs meeting in October. And at the last Chiefs meeting, there was at least 3 other departments. There was 2 there that Batavia and Grease PD that were running it now. They're both big believers. Arcade, Perry, and the third one in there, I can't think of who it was now, who are ramping up to start. So I'm curious if they've actually started and how they're making out. But I'm about 75% sold on doing this. It's about $4,800 to start. I think I can get a price break on it, so it won't be that bad, but it will be still probably around 4. And what I'd like to plan on doing, if it comes to the conclusion that I am in favor of doing this, everything checks out, and you folks are deciding that you're in favor of it, again, I'd like to make part of that, part of the budget for next year, and move forward with it for, at least for payment after June 1st. Make it part of next year's budgeting plan. Even if we started early, they may, one person who's actively involved in that business is a previous police chief for Glen Falls and things like that, so he understands things as far as budgeting and timing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure there can be an arrangement made that even if we start sooner than June 1st, that they would accept payment after June 1st. That way we're not doing any mid-year unplanned budget
Expenditures.
Expenditures is what I was looking for. And the fact that we've got a couple new folks downstairs that need some training, and other training needs that have been put off due to lack of manpower the last 3, 4, 5 years, that we're playing catch up this year. So in the grand scheme of things, it would be better to start this either late in the spring or right off the bat in June and try to put the money together for June 1st, even if we start a little sooner. So like I said, I'm about 75% sold on these folks. Let's see what else.
What's it gonna take to be either 100% or not? I mean,
I think October.
because I mean, we've been running now for a couple of years with no, limited, not up to date, up to snuff rules and regulations, and going through this company, I think that, if we're not gonna go this way,
Right.
then we're wasting months and months and months.
I think we're going to have to do something along those lines because there's just no time downstairs to do it any other way that I can see. That's been part of the evaluation process too. Is it's really track my time. And like I mentioned here, I don't know if I mentioned it last week or a couple weeks before. Calls for service, the investigations, the traffic enforcement, trying to do some sort of being visual and not being reactive to everything under the sun, actually try to be ahead of some things. You've got DWI stats there. We're leading the county.
Yeah, we've seen them.
Yeah, we're leading the county. You look at dollars spent for enforcement, and we're number 1. We may not have as many of arrests, but when you look at the number of dollars spent for those arrests, we're number 1. And that pretty much is just another reflection of the overall environment that the guys are handling downstairs. They're doing a great job. But there is a limit of hours, a limit of hours. So the activity's high, and we run very efficiently. And I think the best way to, thinking about the policies I've done recently, by the time you take 3 or 4 policies from other locations and you tweak them and take out the best of all pieces and put them together and put them in order and organize them the way they need to be organized, you have many, many hours involved in it. This company was able to, they were willing, when asked, to provide us with, for example, a pursuit policy that I had just recently done. And in reading through what I put together and what they put together, other than offering, they put a few more details into theirs, examples and things of that nature, which are useful. Reading down through it, it's useful. The policies are very, very similar, but it took me many, many hours to take the best out of several different policies, of which was interesting. 2 of the policies I used for reference material was Greece and Batavia, who are with this company. Mm-hmm. And coincidentally, now that they're with this company, those policies are operated, so you can't borrow them now and use them. So at the end of the day, I think this is probably going to be the way that a significant number of departments, both large and small, are going to go to.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at with that. And like I said, hopefully the October Western New York meeting, I'll have a better feel for the other chiefs that were working on going this direction as to whether they're still sold like they were a month ago as to moving forward.
Next item on there is the disorderly conduct. I know there's been a difference of opinion. I have checked with our attorney, and he says there's no reason why the officers can't arrest people for disorderly conduct and they could be their own witnesses.
The case law doesn't support that, but
Well, what you gave me,
District attorney does.
yeah, and what you gave me, all that explained was what disorderly conduct is, what the criteria is. Didn't have any examples that would justify them not being involved in it directly, only as witnesses. So unless somebody can show me something more definitive, I say that the officers should be allowed to make a disorderly conduct arrest. I mean, for example, if there's somebody out in the middle of the street fighting, are they just supposed to walk by and nobody's complained about it?
That's not against the law.
The fight in the middle of the main street.
It's not against the law.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And if you did have a crowd, you'd have to make sure the crowd wasn't there supporting the fight, or if they're annoyed by it. If they're not annoyed or alarmed, then there's no...
Yes, it is. It's completely false.
Yeah.
Completely false.
I think just common sense indicates that you gotta do that.
That's what the law is there for.
Yep.
The district attorney, like I said, I spoke with him and he supported it, that the police officers can be the complainant in that. I asked him if that was the case, if there would be a problem, and he said, no, there would be no issue with that at all.
Yeah. Like I say, I think that's what the board wants, so that's what needs to be done. Okay, village courts. Budget, finance, and audit, trustee Rittenhouse.
Moving right along. Budget modifications, I see them on here. There were some added today. When I'm looking at, came in at 4:42 p.m.
That was the fire department.
Was there other ones in
that
there?
brought up. That's what was added,
Okay.
was the fire department one.
So, have you had a chance to review them yet? Do you want to go over them?
Yeah, on the general fund, I'm sure you all noticed, there's one that, the board needs to come up with. It's the yellow highlighted. Sorry, I'm just waiting for mine to open.
Yeah, mine won't zoom in. I don't have my readers on me. Oh, there they go. Working road foreman,
Yep.
originally budgeted,
I did start doing suggestions or recommendations for you guys, but then in the end I ended up erasing it because it's not really up to me to know what DPW is going to spend. You know what I mean? I don't know what Scott's going to spend out of certain line items, and to pull money from those line items and give my recommendations, I really can't do that. So I figured Scott's aware, everyone's been aware that this needs to be done. I just haven't gotten a line item or line items where we're gonna pull it from yet, so I just need that.
where's that been being paid from?
The working
Foreman? I
road
thought-
foreman, out of the line item here, A5110.114. When the budget was set, I think the intent of the board was to promote a motor equipment operator. So what was budgeted in that line item was just the difference between a street motor equipment operator and a working road foreman. But then what happened is somebody who worked for the water department received the promotion instead, so in a way it added a position to the general fund. So that
Was
just
that
needs
being
to be
paid for through the
rectified.
water fund, or?
Yes.
This is not.
Not
This is
now,
general fund.
not now, but
When Brian was hired full-time, he was hired under the water department. And then he became, I think, he became a motor equipment operator. And then I believe then that's when the question came up whether he was working for water or street. And then at least by the time he was hired, obviously for working road foreman, it was confirmed he was general fund.
That's one that, that'll be for Scott to come up with that.
yep. We just hold that one and do the others.
And you're saying the other ones, you had done these, but you had not, you had blanked them off because it wasn't,
No, I was giving you guys recommendations for where to take the money for the working road foreman, but that's what I got rid of because in the end, if he's gonna spend from a line item, I might not know that right now. The rest of them are good.
outside of that one, the rest of them are all set and ready to go?
Yep.
So I think that we'll do a motion to accept the budget modifications minus the one in yellow that was for the MEO.
Okay, I have a motion to accept approve the budget modifications as presented with the exception of the one for the working road foreman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Humphrey. Discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, trustee Humphrey,
Aye.
trustee Rittenhouse,
Aye.
and the mayor's an aye. 3-0. Okay,
We're gonna just move down to the special buildings, because I think that for anything establishing the reserves and everything, you're gonna have to be when all five of us are present.
yes, absolutely. We've already established the funds, but we haven't really decided how we're going to break it up.
Yes.
That's the only thing that's on there for us, so that we can put that on the action list if we need to.
Yeah, I think that the establishing reserves is probably a better spot, would be on the
Mhm.
action list than
Okay,
here. Under special buildings, wastewater treatment plant capital project with composting Crane Hogan for the project 0410.10001 for $19,031.25. Housing rehab grant, Home of Development for Administration of Program Delivery, $6,000. And Cassidy and Underwood for 19 Chestnut for $23,900. Motion to accept the special.
okay, we have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to accept the special billings for the wastewater treatment plant capital project and the housing rehab grant.
So moved.
Have a second from trustee Humphrey. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Trustee Humphrey.
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse.
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye.
Under bills, general paid checks 16390 through 16401 for the amount of $43,772.51, and we audited checks in the amount of $215,814.51. Under the water, paid checks 1243 through 1248 for $22,492.71, and audited checks in the amount of $93,202.67. Through the sewer, paid checks 1085 through 1089, also 1092 and 1093, in the amount of $11,123.33, and audited checks in the amount of $42,958 with 58 cents. Motion to pay the bills.
I have a motion to pay the bills for general water and sewer funds. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Humphrey. Trustee Humphrey.
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse.
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Motion passes.
We'll do band and bond payments as well as MedX accounts
Okay.
all at once. Under band and bond payments, 10/15/17, the Depository Trust Company for an ambulance, $42,000 principal, $424.36 interest. 10/15/2017 to the Depository Trust Company for the wastewater treatment plant renovations, $13,000 principal, $275.64 interest. 10/15/17 to the Depository Trust Company for fire truck number 2, $11.25 interest. On 10/15/17 the Depository Trust Company for street paving 2007, $45 in interest. Under MedX billing accounts payments, Livingston County EMS $3,150, Nunda Livonia patient reimbursement of $420.39. MedX invoice 2017-09 for $2,158. The Village of Dansville payment for $11,744.06. And the Dansville ambulance payment of $17,616.08. Motion to pay the band and bond payments as well as the MedX billing account payments.
I have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to approve band and bond payments and MedX billing account payments. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Humphrey. Any further discussion? Okay. Trustee Humphrey?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
Mayor's an aye as well. 3-0. And moving along to Public Works, trustee Humphrey for water and sewer.
The only thing I have, Scott's not here, but the water and sewer law updates, nothing more on the water portion of that?
No,
We
he
got
said he was
sewer.
trying to get it to us within the week, but we'll see.
Well, looking at Monday, October 2nd,
Okay.
looks like everybody's good for that. I don't know about Scott, so I was going to ask him tonight.
Yeah, Moving off in Utah.
But I'm hoping sometime that week, and it shouldn't, Megan sent me the electronic copy,
Okay.
and I forwarded that to everyone so they could take a look at it before we actually got together.
Yeah, I contacted Bill Davis last week, and he was hoping in a week or so, but
Okay.
don't hold your breath. Don't stop because you don't have the water yet.
Well, hopefully we can get it all done before January 1st.
Okay. Oh, and really no more to talk about, I guess, on the pole barn, other than that Scott wants to build it. And trustee Zay isn't here for streets. I'll just put these on the list for next month. The CRS, we need to take some action on that. And I got an email today, late this evening, or late this afternoon, from John. It was the letter he had sent to Matthews Bus's attorney on that easement, and he's waiting to get a response back from him. Contrary to what we were told, he does not have a copy of that easement yet. So, or at least he didn't when I talked to
Kicking
him.
the can down the road
Yeah,
some more.
yeah. So, and this was part of, this next item was part of that discussion that we had last month about get some sort of a warning sign up there on 256 saying 45, you're going to 30.
Yeah, 45 should be well.
Most people do try to slow down, but you could tell when a truck's gearing down when they get down to that, because you can hear it really loud. I walk up that road enough, I hear enough of them doing it. Okay, Parks and Recreation.
Vote for the Christmas decorations under the update. I'm sorry, I don't have anything. I dropped the ball, but I'll have something for you as soon as.
Well, there's downstairs, there's another catalog. I don't know if it's the same company or not, so you might want to take a look.
Oh, okay. I didn't
It's in
know
the
this one
clerk's
down.
office there on the counter.
Okay, I'll grab it.
Came in either yesterday or today.
Okay.
Alrighty, as for the Halloween parade chair, because of some of the changes in Dave Lavin's life and everything, I contacted him to see if he was going to be doing it or passing it off to somebody else, because I heard he was passing it off, but he got back and said he was planning on doing it.
Oh, good.
So I told him go ahead, unless there's any objections from the board or anything.
No, he's always done a good job with
Yep.
it. So.
So that'll be the end of next month, getting close to Halloween. Seems like it was just yesterday. And next item is technology. And Megan, I guess there's probably no update from last week. Robin, you weren't here, but we're taking a look at some sort of credit card billing payment system with our new website.
We have the website meeting on Friday, so I thought maybe
Yeah.
we'd bring it up to those folks and
Sure.
get their input.
Yeah, we've got a committee report with, or a meeting with people from virtual towns and schools to start getting into the meat of the site. So that's on Friday. So that sort of actually takes care of the next item.
This coming Friday?
Yeah. What did we say, 10 o'clock, wasn't it? Yeah. And I guess there's no difference in codification, next books, everybody's starting to use them.
I did find out on the codification, Mayor, that you were right. We are waiting on basically the draft.
Uh-huh.
It's a manuscript, editorial, and legal analysis is what they'll give us next.
They say when?
And I emailed them again today to
Okay.
try to get more of a.
For some reason October
date.
sticks out.
It's like the middle of October is what
Yeah.
it was supposed to be. And then they say this is the part that will definitely want to involve an attorney, and it'll take us several months to go through. The last analysis I did, but this one,
Yeah.
we're gonna want legal.
We'll have to get John
So-
involved in that. Speed him along a little bit. Okay, did you say you couldn't magnify your stuff?
I just did it, but
Okay,
it worked finally. I had to zoom like up to 150 so I could actually read it like 4
Okay.
times.
That's what I have to do. I can't like on your. Or
did I
some
say I could do it
tablets,
okay on my
go, You know
computer?
what I mean? Like open it up kind of. On this, you have to do that zoom
Yeah.
bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
did it
I,
like 4 times, it didn't work, then finally it worked.
yeah. Okay,
But that's the first time it hadn't worked.
okay, good. And I'm gonna start looking around. We've in the past have toyed with the idea of document management. Megan and actually, I guess it would be Jess has done a lot of work down in the basement, straightening out all of our records and everything. So we may be at a point now where we can start going forward with, computerizing our records. We would go forward. Stuff in the past would stay probably in paper, at least for the time being. But this is a point where we can actually apply now for grants from the state, and that may help us out.
We do have a complete list of all of the records that fall under the clerk's office. So that's just all of my records. So, minus some of the other department records, unless it's something that I would keep as well. We have that complete list. We are ready to start bringing a few items each month to the board to start discarding. Items that we can, by board resolution legally discard. So we are ready to start that. That was one of our goals.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's just about time we got into the 21st century here and start computerizing this stuff so we can
And it's just
call it up,
hard-
at least internally.
It's hard for us, from what I understand, with talking with different companies and other municipalities, because we've already had a records management grant, and it was the type that we would want to go after. It's going to be difficult for us to get that same type of grant again, so that's why we're doing so much work in office, because we think it'll help us in the long run if we have a little more organization.
Basically being shovel ready, as it were.
Yeah.
So they've done a good job downstairs getting that stuff straightened out and cleaned up. But even after the last time they had the folks in to do that records management, either they didn't do it right or it was just allowed to fall apart because it was a mess again. So if we can get, as we go forward, somehow get a system in there, and there are enough of them out there. We've had one that hasn't really bothered us in a while. I can't remember their name now, but they were on us all the time about doing something. But again, none of that stuff's cheap. And just the last item here is just a historical district project about getting some markers up, drawing people into the center of the village. I've got a committee, more or less, but because of the summer and the holiday and everything, we haven't done anything. So start to get active in it again. See what we can. I haven't heard back from the Historical Society yet. If they're willing to partake, they said they got manpower issues, and in order to apply for grants, it's going to have to be probably the village. Have to do it. They be the lead agency, not the Historical Society, because they just don't have the manpower over there. If we get one person to help us out from over there, that'll be pretty successful. So with that, drop on down to unfinished business. Unless somebody has something more for technology. I think we got a full table for that. Okay. Last week we had a discussion on the full-time labor for the wastewater treatment plant. That would be Chris Osborne. Holding off on anybody up at the water plant at this time for at least a month or two.
Well, I think eventually, even that budget modification would clean up, would help if we did that other one, because that would take one out and put one back, and it would clean up that budget modification.
Finally.
But we'll put that on the slate for the department head meeting, I would think, to move forward and move it to the labor up there. And
Yeah. So, but right now, do I have a motion, or is there any discussion on the wastewater treatment plant? Individual. Chris?
I don't have any problem with it.
I'll entertain a motion then.
So moved.
All right, motion from trustee Humphrey, a second.
second.
Second from trustee Rittenhouse. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Trustee Humphrey?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Next item is the state property maintenance code punishment update. mentioned that a little bit last week, that there is a huge section in the code, but the code is, what, 5 volumes thick? 12, excuse me, I underestimated it. And it's in, was it chapter 3 or whatever?
Property maintenance is one of 12 volumes. Chapter 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6, and 7 are the most used. Chapter 3 being the ultimate most used for everything I do in this community.
So, remember when we had the public hearing and we were going to discuss and possibly vote on it at the time, there was questions about it, because it didn't list the specific things like the weeds and all of that sort of thing. That's in the code itself. And unfortunately, I don't have it easily available in front of me right now.
You want me to grab the book?
You can go grab it if you got it handy. You can show it to the trustees. I've seen it, read it, so.
Do you want all 12
you can-
books or just?
No, just the one that applies.
I don't think you do. Israel, did you have any issues with it?
No, I didn't have any
I'll
issues.
make a motion to accept that.
Oh, okay, we have a motion from trustee Humphrey. Wait, second? If not, I can just.
I guess I can make a second.
Okay, you got a second from trustee Rittenhouse. Any discussion? Okay. Trustee Humphrey.
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse. A reluctant yes?
Aye. Says aye.
Aye, okay, and mayor's an aye as well. And to echo a little bit of trustee Rittenhouse's concern, because we have it, doesn't mean we have to go clobber people with it.
Yeah, it's not for me to do it anyway. It's
I understand, but you know what we're getting at. Or threaten people with it.
It just goes on the bottom of the letter, making the letter legal, and then it's up to the judges.
Yeah. Okay. So that motion passes. Next one is, okay, what did I do? I did the audit on the records. And wouldn't you know it? Oh, that should be in the folder. Gee, I know I did something with it today. You should see the my statement on the audit for the court. I did complete it. All I need is a motion to approve my examination. Or
Any
to,
issues?
no.
Motion.
Second.
Yeah, motion from trustee Rittenhouse, second from trustee Humphrey. Any discussion? There's some minor stuff that came up, but it was nothing that wasn't explainable. It was just paperwork. Okay, so trustee Humphrey,
Aye.
trustee Rittenhouse,
Aye.
and the mayor's and I. And so I will go ahead then and send off a letter to the state saying that this has been conducted and approved by the board. And moving down to new business. These are items that Scott brought up last week. The brush wolf is I guess something that chops up all the brush along the sides of roads and stuff.
Well, yeah, I think that's definitely, especially we put in, just for something this could be used for, is we put in a good solid week last year with 2 or 3 guys down between Van Campen and Maury Ave right along the creek, and they clean that all out. But you can't go back all the time and, continually try to mow that one. This can go right down through there and has it on the arm and can reach it over. And it looked 10 times better when it was cleaned up. So, I'd make a motion we move forward with that.
Okay, a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to approve the purchase of the brush wolf at $6,850.
And set up a budgeted line item for his
Probably equipment.
equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and a second from trustee Humphrey. Discussion? Not hearing any. Trustee Humphrey?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Next item, I would like to push off till Scott gets back
I agree 100%.
So, yep.
for a number of reasons. Okay, moving down to the 200-foot push camera. This is a replacement for the one that we had and just died.
I'd make a motion we move forward with that 200-foot push camera because it's pretty vital
Yep.
to a lot of things we do. And
Okay, I have a motion from trustee Rittenhouse to approve the 200-foot push camera for $9,750. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from trustee Humphrey. Discussion? Okay, trustee Humphrey?
Aye.
Trustee Rittenhouse?
Aye.
And the mayor is an aye. Motion passes 3-0. And the next item was the millings from the hospital work and potentially from the hospital and from the Pogues Hole topsoil gift acceptance.
Make a motion for both.
Okay, I have a motion that
Scott
this
can
is,
explain this one too.
Yeah.
They're gonna be redoing the drive up through, and that would be the millings.
Yeah.
The hospital would be donating those millings. We have to accept them as a gift. We'll haul them away and use those millings, and Scott says we use them millings a lot, and they've used up
Yeah.
all the stuff we've had. The other one is down at Pogues Hole. There was some,
yeah, I'm trying to remember what work they were doing
and down there, was it Mistretta's or someone was gonna be
It
taking
had something to
off-
do with, it's the
was gonna be-
topsoil
gonna be
out
taking
at the
topsoil
hill.
off, and all we gotta do is to haul it away rather
Like
than
we did
purchase
at
it.
Brad and Gunn.
Yes,
Yep.
so
Okay. I'll
these are
second.
just for accepting the gifts.
And then we get to use that.
Free of charge.
Yeah,
All we
I-
gotta do is get it
The
hauled
only
away.
cost was is the hauling it away. Okay, so,
And even if we go and buy it, you gotta haul it either way, so there's no bill for
I was
haul.
up at the landfill over the weekend, I see he's mixed a lot of that stuff from
Yeah.
Pogues Hole in with
yeah,
the millings, or the wood chips and
it's
things.
looking pretty good up there. It's the best it's looked in a long time.
Yeah, I was up there 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so, I had a motion.
Yes.
Motion from trustee Rittenhouse. Do I have a second? Second from trustee Humphrey. Any further discussion? Okay, trustee Humphrey,
Aye.
trustee Rittenhouse,
Aye.
and the mayor's an aye. Motion passes. Okay. We're now down to action list summary. What you got?
We added the electronic speed indicator
Yep.
and reserves.
Okay.
Did I miss anything?
I'll say there was something else in there. Yes, oh. Procedures too for the PD, didn't,
Lexipol.
yep. Okay, and the speed indicator, so we're good there. Alrighty. Anybody else think of anything they'd like to have put on there? Community comments? Yes, Jasmine.
I was talking to the Historical Society, and they said they wanted to do a ceremony at Pioneer Park, the dedication ceremony, since a lot of work's been done there and to pour into the village. But they wanted the village board to kind of take the lead on that, because it's owned by the village. So I was wondering what you guys think about doing something at Pioneer Park.
Be happy to do something, but nobody's contacted us yet.
Yeah. So
So-
the Historical Society would have to contact you guys?
I'll contact them,
Okay.
now that you've brought it up.
Yeah, because they want to do a dedication ceremony there.
Contact Jerry,
Have
and I'll
speeches
contact
and
Jane.
stuff. I think that'd be nice. Our settlers are buried there.
Well, some of them,
Some of
what's
them.
left of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, is there any update on Maple Avenue with the rehab center moving to the Western?
Maple Street, no, there's no update at this time.
No update at this time?
Not by the board, because it's not really in our,
It's not our,
No, there's some things going on, but right now they're sort of behind the scenes, and I say they don't directly involve the board, so we'll wait till those folks are ready to discuss it.
Yeah.
Did you get to did you get to the session that Mrs. Dominguez had?
No, missed that.
Yeah, there was good information there.
Oh.
Having another one this coming Wednesday
Oh,
at
yeah.
5 o'clock in the
Yeah,
auditorium.
5 p.m. tomorrow?
No,
Oh, the next Wednesday?
yeah, week from tomorrow.
Okay. Here, Council?
auditorium.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll have some good information of one kind or another.
Yeah, that'll be good to talk to her.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Yes, Mr. Bondi, what have you got?
It's easy to critique all you guys, but you work so hard. It's too bad the public doesn't really appreciate the work you put in.
Well, thank you very
I
much.
certainly do.
We appreciate
I don't
that.
have to agree with you, but
No, you do not.
that's what it's all about.
We don't always agree with one another.
yeah,
That's true.
But in the end, you gotta get the business done and the village, you gotta move on.
Okay.
One little fire goes out, another one starts.
Unless the board has anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion.
So who did it?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion, we close.
Trustee Rittenhouse made the motion, trustee...
I already seconded it.
Okay, he got in early.
I'd like to pre-second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to-
Okay. Anybody want to stay? Thank you very much, everybody have a good evening. That's got to be one of our shortest.
Since I've been on the board, it is the absolute shortest.
Well, maybe we should reduce this to a three-man board.
Do that once.
No, because we're gonna have Mike.
Yes, we did.